Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Amicha Nakwan with Adeba Bodere today, and we'll be going through some reports with you and the analysis. Now, revenue leakage, transparency in the management of Nigeria's revenue. It was the World Bank that blew the lead to the 34 trillion naira was deducted from federal earnings, accounts. Money meant to go into federation account for the 2 tiers of government to share, but it didn't get there. Now, the World Bank told us that this is about 40% of accruals into the federation account. Several civil society organizations, and we are joining them here to shout and ask, where is the money? 34 trillion, no be moi moi, no be beans. It's so much. I recall how the Buhari administration spent 23 trillion CBN printed for it with no account as to who got what, who spent what. Today we're asking the Tinubu administration, come clean on the revelations made by the World Bank. These are income money that should go into federation account, but there are some deductions. They call it different names according to the World Bank before it gets to the federation accounts and it goes elsewhere. So he's saying all this money you're talking about, cost of collection, this, that, explain to Nigerians where the money has gone to.
Well, Amishi, good morning to you and good morning to our listeners on YouTube and those who are listening to us wherever you are in any part of the world. You see, issue of transparency, accountability has been there have been dominant issues since the beginning of this Fourth Republic. It was not as if issue of accountability and transparency were also downplayed during the First Republic, Second Republic, and the aborted Third Republic. But it has become very, very dominant. And this is what probably led us to a situation where two bills were speedily passed into law. Those are the law establishing the ICPC and EFCC, because it was perceived that transparency and accountability are not yet part of our culture, are not yet part of our political culture. We are just mouthing them. And so when all these issues are raised as 8 years of Buhari, money were printed by central bank, for what purpose, and to what use were they deployed, they remain questions unanswered. And so when there is a single treasury account, that was what became dominant during the Buhari administration, and it's still in place. It has not been abrogated, that every money earned must first and foremost go into one single account before you can start spending it. But when you now have a situation where there are means of expenditure outside that framework, I think it's something that needs explanation. I think these are no issues that we sweep under the carpet. These are no issues that we keep quiet over. These are issues that demand explanation. I keep on saying on this program, and I will continue to shout it, that Nigerians are the most critical stakeholders in this nation. They own the nation. They only allow a few people, elected them into offices, to administer the affairs of the nation. So they hold a responsibility not to keep mute or keep in secrecy or do things that is shrouded in secrecy. Anything that concerns the nation, everything about the expenditure must be explained. It's not for us to be hearing from World Bank far away in whose headquarters is far away from Nigeria, even though they have an office in Abuja. It's not that they are not the one that should be telling us.
We have the National Assembly that should carry out
oversight function.
We have civil society organizations that, including the media,
and you know when
raise these issues and demand for accountability and transparency.
So when you have a National Assembly and they are being given names, Some call them rubber stamp, some of them call errand boys, some call them ranzeros, that what they do is to ranzero whatever the executive is doing, and they are contented with that. It means they are abandoning their responsibility. The media too also need to up the game. Nigerian journalists have not been found wanting in terms of investigation in this country, and we should be able to also up our game in exposing some of these things. All these expenditures that are not made public, that are unknown, that we now be hearing from multilateral institutions that are not critically involved in the management. I mean, they are not the one directly involved in the management of finances. It's not too good for us. Those in government owe the responsibility not to keep anything secret from the citizens.
And so we continue. Just yesterday on this program, we were asking where is the revenue going despite the inflow coming into this administration's coffers since it came into being. The removal of fuel subsidy, trillions of naira saved, where are they? Increase in electricity tariff, more coming into the coffers of the discos and the government, where are they? All the other excesses that we had are being generated by the FIRS, Sports Authority, they're overshooting their targets. Where
including the custom.
Is the money, customs, where is the money? We're also asking the huge borrowings that are going on, doubling in 3 years what the Buhari administration borrowed in 2 years. Where is the money? And the final question now is the 34 trillion the World Bank has said should find its way into the Federation account, but there were deductions, they call it cost of recovery, agency remittances. We expect the government to today offer explanations as to where all these funds are going to.
When they do that, they will make us, we the citizens, to believe that the mounting issue of accountability and transparency are not just rhetorics, but anything short of that, those two key words, transparency, accountability, will just remain impassioned oratory that we get fancy, that are fanciful to us, and we mouth it when we like, but they are meaningless in what we do day to day.
Now, 2024 budget, 2025, 2026 budget not seen. Who not well implemented, as it were. In fact, for 2024, those that implemented it, the contractors are still being owed. Many of them are dying. Banks are selling off the assets they use as collateral to collect the money. For 2025, there were no releases. So these are where these funds should have gone to. 2026 budget, nobody knows what's the fate after it's been passed by the National Assembly. We are going in deep into the second quarter of 2026.
Already in second quarter.
Yes, deep. I said deep into it. What of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund? How is it being funded? That fund appears to be rich and so big. Where is that? Is that where the money is going to? The Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund that is being used to implement legacy projects of this administration. Where is the funding coming from? Is it part of the money where World Bank is shouting, where is it from, that are meant for the Federation account, are we putting in there? And these projects are extra budgetary projects, not indeed appropriate to by the National Assembly properly, and of course not well captioned, not being allowed to go through the processes of our institutions, the institutions of our government. But we'll go to another issue now, very disturbing. The university matriculation examination is starting today.
Yesterday.
Thursday, yes, Thursday. Up till Saturday, 3-day examination. Over 1 million. Close
up to 23rd. Up to 23rd of this month.
It's done in phases. So young people from across Nigeria will leave their homes because JAMB recently adjusted call time to report to these centers to 7 a.m. from 6:30 a.m. And perhaps in a bid to beat that time, some young people in Otubo, Benue State, boarded a bus around 7 p.m. headed towards Makurdi, the state capital. Unfortunately for them, they ran into terrorists, bandits, and about 14 of them were abducted. They are supposed to be writing the JAMB examination this morning as we speak. Now, that incident, kidnapping incident along Otukbo Makurdi Road in Benue State, is one out of the many that is happening in Nigeria. Many of them go unreported. Many victims will not even bother to go to the security agencies. They will prefer to sort the problem out by themselves. And I was just thinking how Nigeria has failed these young people who are trying to acquire the necessary competencies and skills through education to be part of our nation building. But the government level, federal, states, and local government failed them. They have run into, as we speak, I just imagine what they are going through now in the deep forest of Benue State. Life will go on as usual. Those in government will continue politicking, plotting for 2022. Those in opposition will also be continue with strategies to wrestle the ruling party. And what happens to these vulnerable Nigerians is only God that will come to their aid.
Well, it's so unfortunate, very sad. We keep on saying the youths are leaders of tomorrow, but I keep on wondering, people whose future cannot be determined now, who cannot be put on the right track now. I look at, when that news broke out, I took a deep look at the map of Benue State. Otukpo is one of the biggest towns in Benue State. Are we saying in this modern time, centers cannot be set up in Otukpo for these young ones to sit there and for it to be accredited by JAMB, for them to sit for exam, and they have to travel all the way from Otukpo to Makurdi because we can write JAMB exam.
Because perhaps there are no CBT compliance centers around where they are in Otukpo.
And that's at a time when we said, when the government is, WAEC, NECO are moving towards a situation where we are now going to have computer-based examinations. So this is a signal that these facilities are just simply not in place. And when we keep on saying,
and when you say facility, it's not the facility of a NASA that will take Artemis 3 to orbit the moon. To the moon. Simple computer systems that have been installed.
TV camera and then we take pressure in building overhead bridges, conference centers, new government houses, and yes, we are jeopardizing the future of the supposedly future leaders of Nigeria.
Inside Makurdi,
is very sad.
The administration of Governor Alia is constructing one or two within Benue, 1, 2, or 3 flyovers. Now, what's the essence? When in rural areas, public schools, even beyond public schools, other schools, you don't have CBT centers as basic, as primary as it is. These are when we shout government spend money on education and health, because that's where the people will benefit directly. They will prefer to divert to these white elephant projects where they will use the opportunity to loot public funds and not put money. If the Benue State government has been putting money in education, secondary schools, public secondary schools, they have been installing computers, making sure there's the electricity access, or even powered by solar alternative system where you have internet connection. These children will not have need to travel at night. It's because of this failure. Because if you tell them, they say there's no money, but they have money to build flyovers that people, I mean, what's the in their on the roads, and those that have refused to travel, that's the new trend now. If you refuse to travel and stay in your house, they'll come and meet you there and pick you up.
True.
So there are cases of people in their homes within Abuja here, whisked away by kidnappers. So where do we climb the trees? Do we join Edino Milaye to climb trees in evading justice and all that? This one is not evading justice, it's evading terrorists and all that.
Yeah, it's really sad. When I saw this yesterday, when the news finally made it out, it happened on Wednesday, and then we got to know about it yesterday. It was really heartbreaking. And to even see, while no one should be kidnapped, no age, no social class, that these ones that are particularly involved are teenagers who are, they've not even seen life, they've not known anything, and then parts of their formative years, they already have this traumatizing experience as part of their life, which will live with them forever. The Benue State government, they put out a statement overnight, and they've condemned this as expected.
And directed.
Yeah, as people would
what
say.
What again have they done?
They've directed the security operatives and let all of them be rescued or not. As we say, or some analysts will say, that we already have this press statement, or it does appear that we have this press statement waiting. So when any case happens, we just dust one, change the name and the location where it happened, and we just put it out there. I am saddened, I am directed, I'm shocked, matching other here and there. It's so traumatizing to find out that this is the case right here. You talked about how almost impossible it will be for people to even be traveling. Even by land right now, it's almost impossible. People want to see that you are so important to me, for me to leave point A and say that I'm even crossing my axis to go and participate at your event and all that. The airline operators of Nigeria on Monday, April 20, they said they are going on strike because Jet A1, that's the aviation fuel price, has skyrocketed from 900 naira. From 900 naira late February, it is now 3,300 naira. And I listened to Obiora Okonkwo yesterday, who is their spokesperson. He doubles as the chairman of United Nigeria Airlines, that we are going to possibly spend as high as 600,000 naira for one way only. That if they have to,
in aviation,
that if we have to, for air flight, if we have to, one way, not return ticket. If we have to, equalize what to expenses, with gains right now, and it's so sad. You don't even know where to turn to. I'm really afraid for those children, 14 of them kidnapped altogether, mostly UTME, and also JAMB. Why do you make children go out as early as 6:30 a.m.? How do you make children go out without parents, no guardians, at 6:30 a.m.? What are they writing?
No, they have moved it to 7. So
what's the difference? If they move it to 7 a.m., then you have to. 7 a.m. it's call time, so you don't have to leave your house at 7 a.m. because you need to meet up.
That's why those in Otubo, perhaps heading to Makodi, a distance of about 1.5 hours to 2, between 1 and 2 hours, between 1 hour and 2 hours. Am I right? Who's from that side here?
Yes,
1.5 hours. So they decided to go a day before. They took an evening bus, 7 p.m. or 6:30, got to the point around.
Because that happened about 7 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday.
So they needed to get there to Makodi a day before so that they can now get closer to the exam venue, call time of.
I don't think that even WAEC and NABTEB and all of those exams are as early as those. Those are even for mature teenagers growing into adulthood. Their exams are not as early as that.
There are reports that the federal government has moved to 13 airport prison security. There's this memo from the correctional service. Some persons intercepted them and have shared them with the media, suggesting some attacks in the FCT. The security agencies will not agree with this. They have stated, even when the U.S. evacuated non-essential staff, that the city is under control. We'll ask them to keep their eyes open if there's anything the public can do to join them in protecting not just Abuja city center, but every part of the country who can do that. Perhaps Dino Melaya will have to come out now and donate lectures to Nigerians how to climb the trees at night and come down in the morning. Because if you have found, if you have run into the bush before, Majek, come over, it's time for the meals now. If you are running away from dangerous animals in the bush, when you run away from your homes, you also run away with the terrorists. So let's hope we won't get to that point where you climb the trees at night and come down in the morning. Let's hear the mails.
All right, then we'll start this morning.
Sorry, before the mail, let's take a quick commercial break.
Welcome to the mail segment. I'm with Blossom, Aichida, Majakudumi. All right, to start from Madala this morning, a mail sent in by Emmanuel Okodili. It says, the kidnapping of school children going for JAMB exams in Benue State on Wednesday is so disturbing and has clearly shown that government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu is not capable of tackling insecurity in this country. My advice to Mr. President is to declare state of emergency in the Security Department and take full control of it. Enough is enough.
And Haruna Sylvester from Lokoja is writing to us saying, I want to use this medium to call on Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State to use his office to revitalize Lokoja City Water Corporation, aka Ibro Water, christened by inhabitants of Lokoja, which had been abandoned by the past administration for that nomenclature. Political affiliation certainly differs, but governance is continuum. No household or borehole is fit for drinking due to its salty taste and heaviness. Some residents in areas like Old Market, Kabawa, Poroka, Gadumo live on water drawn from the river, which is pathetic, while they average and they rich purchase sachet and bottled water for daily survival. The cost is huge, but with government intervention, Lokoja residents will have clean water for consumption again and escape waterborne diseases. Your Excellency, as you consider this call and do the needful, you will leave lasting legacy. God bless Kogi State and God bless Nigeria.
Amen. From Kogi State, we go to Port Harcourt. A mail sent in by Engineer Esiaga. We would like that you do us your full name subsequently. Thank you. Engineer Esiaga says it's quite concerning that the chairman of INEC has yet to publicly address the serious allegations of bias arising from his past social media activity, particularly comment perceived to be in support of a political candidate during the 2023 elections. Silence on a matter of this magnitude risk eroding public trust in an institution that is meant to stand as a neutral arbiter in our democracy. There is a growing concern that, as often happens in our policy, attention may be diverted until the issue fades away without accountability. However, many Nigerians are not willing to let this matter be quietly swept away. The credibility of our electoral system depends heavily on both the perceived and actual neutrality of its leadership of the office, with the fairness and objectivity required. I respectfully urge your platform to use its voice to call for clarity and accountability. It is important that the INEC chairman addresses Nigerians directly on these concerns. Furthermore, in the interest of preserving the integrity of our democracy, it may be necessary for him to consider stepping aside, since public confidence has been significantly undermined. Should this not happen, I also call on civil society organizations to take appropriate legal steps to seek judicial interpretation on this matter, so that the rule of law can guide the way forward.
And Alison Justice from Yanagwa is saying, I think on security, the leaders of security agencies are seeing ways to make money, but they are also dying. The only thing I thank God is that even the rich also cry. On INEC, what do you expect? The new chairman must be exposed to bribery and may be willing to sell his integrity to dogs. So we must keep 100% eyes on him. This means his bank account statement, how much was in and how much does he have. This should be even after election, who visit him and where, etc. The chairman is here to do the bidding of the APC. We won't stop. We will fight them the way we fought the military.
Also from Lagos is Ugochukwu Godwin, who says the dangers of governors selecting their successors is harmful to the political economy of a state. So many present governors who will end their tenures in 2027 are appointing those they feel will help them sustain their stride, even when development is gasping for breath in their state. I would rather suggests the GAC model in Lagos State, where elder statesmen who were captains of industry, former politicians, and retired public servants can suggest someone based on antecedent. The likes of Ambode and Fashola emerged through them, and they even went against President Bola Tinubu when he rejected Fashola's second term. This should be enshrined in all political parties so that it's not only the incumbent party that will rule. With this model, there won't be need for the hassles and money bag primaries. What happened in Rivers, Imo, Anambra, Oyo, Ogun, etc. will be avoided.
And finally, on the mail segment, Dixon Eka from Abuja says, I watched President Tinubu mocking the key opposition figures yesterday over the use of imposters to cause chaos in every strong opposition party and the unpopular and alleged procured court orders flying around against legitimate opposition party leaders. The opposition leaders wanted to register a new political party, but INEC denied them. And now that they adopted another political party, it amounts to privatization, and the hell of imposters and courts have been unleashed against them. The beauty of democracy is the right of the citizens to make choices, and if it's allegedly using greedy elements in every opposition, the courts to deny the citizens of having choices to make, then we are not in democratic government. And here is therefore worse, and he is therefore worse than a dictator. Majority of Nigerians today prefer the era of article privatization to the current government hardship, where virtually everything is taken from the citizens to the government without a commensurate result. And that is all we have on the mail segment this morning. Keep on sending in your mail to us at politicalplatform@dargroup.com.
Thank you so much for the mails. Now let's go to the comments online. Bankola Atiba says it can also be asked, where's the increment of revenue to the 36 states coming from? Things will eventually change for the better. Uche Amuze replies him, says things will change for better. Bankole, when will that be? Well, JRDO says Nigerians have suffered more than what it takes to live in hell. Bio says Nigeria has an infrastructure deficit of $100 billion. Both should go pari passu within limited availability of funds. Christian says, let's even take it a bit further, narrow it. What exactly would David Mark say or Tupo benefited from him in 20 years of his service in the Red Chamber? Gabriel says, it's disheartening that Tinubu is busy responding to opponents that he's not scared while people's children are being kidnapped. What a failed state, he says. The state has not failed.
Yeah, let me quickly respond to one of our mails talking about process of picking successors and the like.
Yes, we are
I think the problem we have is that we don't have good political parties. Transactional politics is the other way, and then the leadership recruitment process is very, very faulty. It's even not existent. And so when you don't have a party supremacy, individuals impose their will as that of the party.
GSC in Lagos has endorsed Hamzat, right? In Ogun State, a sitting senator has also been endorsed by the incumbent governor.
In Nasarawa
State, a sitting senator. So 2 sitting senators endorsed to become governors, 1 deputy governor endorsed. Let's wait for the endorsement. But the final endorsement is from the people. These are just a group interests. Do their say. You can have your way on election day. Have a good time and let's see you on Monday.